Okay, good evening YouTube and welcome to...
I've just drawn
my arm. You just broke on my arm. What a great start. Good evening YouTube and welcome to episode 51 of the FPL family. My name is Lee, this is Sam. And this is our double game week 34 reaction video so far. So,
midway through the game
plenty more football to be had. Lots more double game weekers to play. All the single game week is actually doing pretty well. Pretty well.
The Dream Team's only got 2 double game weekers in it so far.
Yeah, well, that's all going to change, I think, potentially.
But the single game weekers, not to be overlooked.
Absolutely. And I think it's fair to say a lot of the community were overlooking them. Yeah. They were overlooking them. So lots more football still to play. Some pretty good scores out there. Some pretty terrible scores out there. In actual fact, there's quite a wide spread, I think in this year.
Massive.
It's quite wide in this game week. So definitely want to hear from you guys in the live chat as to how you've got on this game week and what you're thinking about in terms of the fixtures that are coming up over the next few weeks. A couple of first things to say. First thing is to say, Man City, congratulations. I mean, phenomenal side. Despite what happened last week, where they probably should have won that game and wrapped up the title, but nevertheless, United, great comeback. They're great, aren't they? I mean, what a great side. What can you say about Man City?
I don't think there's anything else to say other than that nobody else should have won the league this year. They have been by far and away the best team in the league. Well done, City.
Well done, City.
I did think it was funny when on Sky after the game, the Man United game today, when they went to Vincent Kompany, who was clearly in his nan's house or somewhere, just FaceTiming the rest of the team.
He kind of had Kyle Walker in this hand and De Bruyne in this hand on his 2 phones. Obviously got 2 phones.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like this with them, wasn't he? And he was like showing them to each other and De Bruyne was getting excited. I think the first thing to say is I don't think any of the Man City players were A, together or B, expecting that result. Weren't. Because what often happens is if you're looking for a result that you think is going to happen, sometimes some of the team get together and they'll watch the game together. So if the result goes their way. Exactly, and actually that's perfect, isn't it? Because when Leicester won the league, do you remember? They were all sitting in their hotel, weren't they?
Jamie
celebrating.
Vardy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Or was it at Vardy's house?
I think it was at Vardy's house. I think
you're right. I think
he had a party, didn't he? Because they've been talking about him having a party all season every time he scored.
I think you're spot on.
I think he had a party at his house.
Yeah. Whereas this year, Vincent Kompany was at his nan's house because the curtains in the house he was in were horrendous. They were horrendous.
But yeah, credit where credit's due. City, well done.
They've been fantastic. So you can't deny that they are the best side this year, without a doubt.
And congrats to the City fans out there.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. The other thing to say is that we've now got, we're in the midst of, I think, something like 6 or 7 straight days of FPL and the Premier League.
It's Friday night, isn't it?
It's ace, isn't it? It's ace. And then we've got a little, we take a breather on Friday night and then we go again next weekend. So it is relentless right now. There are FPL points literally coming every single day.
And I get to go to Wembley on Saturday for the 70s.
Oh, you're going, aren't you, on Saturday to the Cup? Yes, absolutely. Yes, so we shouldn't forget that. So Spurs got a game on Tuesday and then Saturday, is that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. So I might get some rotation on Tuesday, potentially? No? Okay.
Well, yeah, there will be some, but he did some last night, didn't he, with Son not playing and bits and bobs. So
yes, I think he did.
There'll be... The rotation will be a bit more. We can talk about it in a minute, but be a bit more limited because the injuries we've got. Obviously with Rose, I was expecting a Davis rotation. That won't happen with injury and that kind of thing. Yes. So we'll talk about it later.
Well, one thing we do need to talk about when we get to that game is that Lamela should never put on a Spurs shirt again.
Oh listen,
my God, that guy!
You've got to have. Stop it!
It's awful, was it not?
Stop
awful?
It! Honestly,
you're getting quite upset with.
I was so annoyed with you last night. I was more annoyed with Lee than I was the actual team. All I heard for 90 minutes was about Lamela.
Oh, he was awful though, wasn't he? He was awful. Right, we're going to come to that game in a bit, and we're going to come to my Lamela bashing in a bit. Like I said, a lot of varied scores this game week. One thing that we've got to get to, and we'll get to that quite quickly when we review our scores, is you have had an absolute stormer of a game week. And I was sitting there watching that Man United game, and my transfers for this game week, guys, were I took Foster out, I took Sterling out, and I took Aubameyang out. Even Aubameyang got an assist. Sterling got hundreds of points, and so did Foster get hundreds of points. And I brought in De Gea, Lingard, and Lukaku, captain Lukaku. So I went full on United. It was the most inept display from United. I mean,
I don't know what happened to them today.
They were just so slow and just weren't at it at all today. And fair play to West Brom.
They tried really hard today, West Brom, and they deserved it. I think.
Difficult to say they don't deserve it. I mean,
they deserve something. Certainly,
I think they did. I mean, people saying they're dead and buried, and we're all getting, I included, maximising the amount of Man United players in my team because West Brom looked dead and buried. And there we go, I'm overlooking the single game week as Aubameyang, Sterling and Foster. I don't know, it's a combined 30 points or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I did the same with Sterling this week. Obviously, I took him out. Remains to be seen with me as to whether I've done the right thing or not. Because if Sonny plays the full game on Tuesday, then and scores, I've done the right thing.
Yes.
If Sonny,
I think he will play Tuesday.
I think he will because he had a rest last night for
Yes.
some of it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't do anything, I've done the wrong thing. We'll just have to wait and see.
We'll come back to that in a minute. So that is my tale of woe transfers wise.
But you've actually had a good game week so far. Otherwise,
Well, this is it, and I kind of came going through the weekend thinking, looking at my transfers and thinking those 3 transfers were just awful, and add to the fact it cost me 8 points to do so. Right, it's just awful swing of points. And then the Kiko Firmino thing happened on Saturday.
So I
was looking at that game.
It's like Christensen all over again.
I know.
It's like going back 10 game weeks or something.
And even then, he couldn't stay on for a couple of minutes and get subbed off because Tom Ince scored and they wouldn't have kept the clean sheet. But had he just got a couple more minutes, it would have been 6 points. So I've got lots of tales of woe from this game week. However, I don't think I've done too badly. I think I'm not bad. I'm sort of 56, I think, which I think is all right. So let's get into the teams in a second. Before we do that, we've absolutely got to say hello to everybody. So let's see who's in.
Antoinette with his triple captain.
Yes, Antoinette.
Hazard.
I tell you what, that is the sort of move that I really like. I like ballsy moves like that. I've been chasing for however many weeks, and I've been trying to chuck a few sort of ballsy moves in there. But that triple captain Hazard is very, very ballsy, and that's very, very good. On 65 minutes, it was not looking so good, was it, for Chelsea or for Antoinette?
No,
but
it
Hazard
wasn't.
stepped up.
And still got a game to go, so could easily be the right decision. He's only got to get one more, and you're laughing.
Absolutely. So MU Fan TV is here. Hi, how you doing? Simon the Bomb is here. Luke Walkinshaw is here. Good evening, guys. How are you? Super Tiger's back for another live stream. Thank you for rejoining, Super Tiger. Your mate Tom Mason from Instagram is here.
Tom.
Good evening, Tom. Vinyl Richie is here. Richard, we're going to talk about Chelsea in a bit more detail, mate, later on. You've got to be a bit happier this week than last.
Tom's not very happy at the moment because Tom's a Saints fan.
Tom's a Saints fan. All right, well, let's not let Tom and Richard get together on the live stream.
No.
That could go a bit
or Chris,
soon,
if he's in.
Oh, indeed, Chris. Yeah, if he's not too busy with Electon. Josh Chelling is here. He's saying, "Oh dear Lee," with a smiley face. Don't know how to take that, Josh. Is that
it means he finds it
bit
funny.
of sympathy there? Or it's probably. So Amulet saying, biggest mistake of life, signing a United attacker. Oh, mate, tell me about it. I couldn't believe how ineffective Lukaku was. It's just awful.
I think all the ones that got Morassa perhaps are in a worse state.
Well, maybe, but I don't think anybody was really thinking about bringing him in very much.
Some people did.
Spencer Lee is here. Spencer, thank you for joining. He's quite rightly saying Foster did pull off that amazing save to deny Lukaku.
And it was amazing.
Another thing I'm aggrieved with, because that's save points for you and not captain points for me, which I was absolutely very unhappy with. But it was a top save. Ben Foster, 9-pointer Vanquish.
Not played like that again, like that for ages, has he, Foster?
Oh, it's unreal, isn't it? It's unreal. So Vanquish, thank you for joining. Micah McClatchy's here. Thank you for joining, Micah. Jamal's in. How you doing, Jamal? Matty Birch is here. All sorts of you guys. Mark Nunes is here. Mark, thanks for joining. Jeff's here as always. Thank you for joining, Jeff. We've got Josh.
I'll tell you what, it's just reminded me because you mentioned Jeff. We've got a poll up, haven't we, today?
Oh, we have indeed. Yeah, so let's finish through the names. I think we're more or less getting to the top, actually. Yeah, here we go. So the Chrissy95's here. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, you're quite right. So I put a poll in, which is sponsored by Jeff this evening. Sponsored by Jeff. He tweeted me earlier and said this would be a good idea for a poll. And I thought, and to be fair, it does need to be a good idea because my polls are pretty good normally. They're pretty good. They're so slick and so well managed.
What, you mean like the last week when you forgot and the week... couple of weeks before when you had captain? The wrong poll up.
So normally my polls are not bad,
not great,
but the poll this evening is all about, thanks to Jeff, it's all about how many points you're on so far. So check out the eye in the top corner, which is up here somewhere. Check out the little eye, click it, and tell us how many points you're on so far. I think the options are 0 to 30, 30 to 39, or in your 40s, 50s, or then 60 plus.
I'll go and vote now.
So you're going to go and vote because you might be one of the very few that are in that 60 plus bracket. And with that, we are going to move very quickly onto the teams for this game week. So let's very quickly run through mine because...
There we go, I voted.
You voted, very good. So I think, we've kind of touched on how I'm getting on. So 56, that game week rank of 536, is that updated?
The game week ranks are up to date, but the league isn't up to date.
Oh, why does it log me out?
Is my understanding.
So
when I last checked, my game week rank...
Here we go, so that's better. It's updated now. So 396. I hadn't refreshed that page for a bit. So 396. That's all right. That's all right. I mean, the -8 stings, right? Given that it was a -8 for basically getting rid of 30 points out of my team. It's like a 30, 40 point swing.
But it might still pay off because they've got another games to play.
Yeah, I know. So Lingard might have an absolute stormer against Bournemouth and outscore Sterling. I get that.
Yeah.
And and I'm expecting David De Gea to keep a clean sheet at Bournemouth, so he should get up to where Foster was. I'm Lukaku. I don't know. I mean, I'm actually regretting captaining that. So you guys in the live stream that have got Lukaku captain, I want to hear from you. So right now, I was looking at that first fixture in the double and thinking Kane's got to play Man City. That's tough. Lukaku's got to play West Brom. That's easy. And it was that first round of fixtures that swung me in the end. Now they've both blanked and we're going into the second round of fixtures in Gameweek 34. I would much rather be on Kane. Much rather be on Kane. Because effectively you've got to look at it as a single game week. And I'd rather be on Kane. You must be reasonably happy to be sitting on Kane.
Yeah.
You care to elaborate?
Yeah. No, well, look, I mean...
So Brighton away.
It's Brighton away.
Yeah.
We're in a position now where Kane's 5 goals behind Salah in the race for the Golden Boot. I think the majority of us football fans think the Golden Boot race is over, but I don't think Kane ever thinks the Golden Boot race is over.
Did you see all the Liverpool players, by the way, completely trolling Kane?
Liverpool players, they've gone massively down in my estimations in the last couple of days.
That's my favourite part of the weekend.
Massively. He comes in and he's like, oh, have you seen this tweet from Milner? Oh, look, here's another tweet from somebody else. It's like, oh, for goodness sake.
Milner is Twitter trolling you, you're in trouble, because he's epic on Twitter, by the way.
Well, look, all I'm saying is that I don't think for Kane... that race is over until the final whistle blows on the last.
Oh, it's 100% not. It's 100% not.
And so
Kane
for
will
him,
want it, right?
you know, he'll go into that Brighton game thinking, I could get 5 goals, and that'll be his attitude to it.
He did, didn't he? A couple of years ago, maybe it was last year. He went into that last fixture and got like 4 goals against Leicester or something, didn't he?
And I think, you know, so I'm going into that game, you know, quietly optimistic with Kane. I think. If I'm really honest, I sat through today's game thinking, oh my goodness, and actually I didn't watch all of it because I couldn't actually bear to.
Okay, all right. So let's just quickly review my teams. I want to get to yours quite quickly, and I want to have a look at how the live stream regulars are getting on.
Well, I think we should do the league at the end because they're not up to date,
right.
And nor is the overall rankings. It's just the game week one that's up to date at the moment.
Oh, fine, okay. So even, you know, this is how bad I am at FPL this year. The bench boost has spared my blushes. I mean, I would not have played Schindler. I would have benched Schindler this game week, 100%. But I thought that, you know, bench boost chip, it was either this game week or 37. I won a triple captain Kane in 37, so I'm bench boosting 34. And Schindler gets me 8 points. I mean, that is epic. I was loving that. And then Miljokovic, again, this guy, what can you say about this guy? 10-9, 10-9, absolutely fantastic.
We went out for the day yesterday, and we were driving home in the car, and Lee was it was quite a long drive back, wasn't it? And you were getting more and more annoyed, apart from when they kept going to Palace, because it just kept being Millie was doing something. He was like, thank goodness.
Yeah, but every time they went to Huddersfield, and it was 0-0,
like,
I was like, yes, 0-0.
He was getting so excited about 0-0
because I had Kiko and Shin, I'm like, yes, 0-0, yes, 0-0. Got in, checked on my phone, and it's like Firmino off. I was like, oh my god. But what a game that was, by the way, Palace and Brighton. We'll come to that in a minute.
Fantastic.
What a game. Fabulous game. Lukaku captain, obviously not paying off yet. Let's see. Eriksen doing the business again. Very happy that I stuck with him. Bit lucky with a goal, but, you know, got to take that. I
don't know. It's just a shame he didn't kick it in first time, then I'd have a Kane assist.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Salah again, you know, we're all sitting here thinking, is it Lukaku, is it Kane? The answer is, you know, it's Salah. I mean, even on a single game week, you can't
Vardy, I'm afraid, so far.
Well, actually, yes, absolutely. Because he's on a double, isn't he?
Yep.
He's on a double. And actually, we go back a few game weeks, and I've said this before on previous vlogs, another terrible decision. I say terrible. At the time, it felt like the right thing to do. Mahrez over Vardy. Mahrez was in great form. Now, 4 games of absolute nothing.
How many times have I told you not to trust Mahrez?
I know. I should be listening to you more, dear. I absolutely agree. And Vardy, by the way, you know, despite Leicester being woefully out of form and looked to be more or less on the beach already, and losing by, you know, a number of goals to 1, Vardy gets the 1. So from an FPL perspective, you stick with him, right? Absolutely. So a long time ago, a lot of football to be played, but needless to say, the bench boost was the right thing to do this game week.
It feels like so far the bench boost over the triple captain was the right thing, unless somebody in this second part of the double game week goes on an absolute scoring, you know.
Because if you've triple captained this game week, you're struggling so far, aren't you? Because it'll be Kane, Lukaku, or Sanchez as a differential.
Yeah,
and all of those are doing crap.
Unless you've done an Amwinet and you've got Hazard, who's got a goal,
absolutely.
Then you're probably not in a great, or maybe Vardy. I don't think anyone would triple captain Vardy, but you know, unless you've got one of those that's already got a goal, I think you'd be struggling.
Okay. enough about my team, because I don't want to talk about that anymore. On to your team, which has had an absolutely, I must say, a phenomenal week. Absolutely phenomenal week. 78 points, guys. 78 points. The game week rank is nearly 5,000, 4.9k. You're up in sort of 14,000 territory. I mean, this is seriously good. This is your highest rank so far, right? Must be.
Oh, that overall rank has gone up again. Well, I started this game week at 36,000.
Oh, goodness me.
And then
14k?
At the end of Saturday I was at 18 and I'm now at 14, so I've gone up another 4.
That's sensational.
I put out an Instagram post just as the Arsenal game was kicking off this afternoon and was like, actually the game week rank I'm really pleased with. I know it won't stick because I've got Aubameyang who I've not got anymore playing in this game. I've got so many people who've captained Lukaku.
Well, you were behind the sofa for the Man United game, weren't you?
I pretty much was. I kept going out to check on the dinner, mostly because I couldn't bear to watch. But yeah, and I was expecting my game week rank to slowly drop back down again as the Sunday fixtures.
Can we just have a word for? Can we just? Sorry to interrupt, but Hannah is quite rightly saying, can we just have a word about that bench boost?
I know.
Just have a word about that bench boost. 9, 9, 6, 10, and a game to go. That is seriously good. So talk us through your team then. And I don't even want to talk about Kevin Long. Oh, again, he was one of those on the way back. I was just thinking, so Burnley scored, and I'm thinking, who is it, Wood or Barnes? Because it's always one of those guys. Well, Goodmanson was playing, so I was like, could it be Goodmanson? Long. Absolutely.
He went long, and I was like, yes, and he was
ruined
like,
my afternoon completely. Ruined my afternoon. Kevin Long, and one of the boys on Who Got the Assist got Kevin Long as well.
To be fair,
you're the only two.
No, a lot of people got Kevin Long as soon as that knee injury was announced. I think a lot of people did what I did and thought, well, let's free up a little bit of money. He's going to play till the end of the season. Let's get a 4 million. I wasn't expecting Ben Mee to keep a clean sheet. So if I'll get another Burnley player. I don't really mind if they don't keep a clean sheet. They're on a double. They're going to get 4. It's fine. For him to pop up, he's got 10 or something ridiculous, hasn't he? And you think he's still got a game to go.
He's a 4.0, isn't he?
He's 4.0. Oh. He's absolute legend. He's gone up to my favourite fantasy player ever, maybe.
So Jeff's got Long as well, apparently.
Yeah, but loads of people did it. Loads of people did it Thursday, Friday, when that knee injury was announced. So yeah, Alonso finally popping up with an assist. So that was worth waiting for.
He's a lucky boy though as well. He's a lucky boy because that was a naughty tackle, wasn't it?
To be fair, if Alonso actually plays again on whenever they're done
Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it is,
I'll be amazed. If the ref has I can't believe that the ref has seen that and not thought that it was a
well,
foul.
It depends whether it's in his match report. So he didn't see it at the time, didn't take any action. It wasn't even a free kick, I don't think. Or maybe it happened after the whistle. But it depends if it's in his report. So if it's not in the report, he's therefore not seen it, therefore the FA can take retrospective action.
Well, it was terrible.
If he does get a retrospective red card, that is a 3-game ban.
Yeah.
A 3-game ban. So if that happens, you're taking him out?
Yeah.
I think you kind of have to,
right?
You
would, because it's 3 games is pretty much the
Be back for the Chelsea double in 37.
Well, the thing is, in my mind, and I think I can't remember if I mentioned this on the video that I posted in the week or not. In my mind, Alonso this is like his stay of execution. If he did something this game week, he might stay for the game week in 37 when he's again got a double. But actually, if he didn't do anything this week, he'd be out. So I think now I'm in a place where if he doesn't get banned, I'll keep him probably.
Okay, very good.
But yeah, so he's picked up something. Izquierdo popped up.
Yeah, just before you go to Izquierdo, I want to talk about just say hello to a couple of people in the chat. So Jonathan Moses has joined. Jonathan Sunil Moses, who says, "Hey Sam, I've been following you guys and listening to your stuff for a while, but it's so late every time in India, so he very rarely gets to join live. But because his kids have been keeping him up, which we know all about
here at the FPL family,
we know all about that." He's managed to join in with a live chat, so welcome. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for your kids for being away.
And another tale of woe, because I don't like all this positivity from you. I want to keep tales of woe coming, guys. It's very good. Joe Finley Badder, bless him,
Joe. Watford lost.
He's gone he went to the game, which
Joe.
is an 8-hour round trip, by the way, from Watford to Huddersfield to watch them lose in the 92nd minute. Kiko was subbed off on the 59th minute, and you can imagine.
And he's got him as well, hasn't he?
You can imagine Joe in the stands shaking his fist. I mean, I'm bad enough.
Joe, why didn't you run on the pitch and hold him down for a minute?
Yeah.
What were you doing? You should have just got up, run down, held him down for a minute, and then you'd have got your 6 points.
And he got rid of Goodmanson, who got an assist.
Joe.
So Joe's had a bad day. He's had a bad day.
That is a bad day at the office.
That's the sort of, come on, we need these tales of woe. Forget all this positivity. Right, I do want to talking about your team. So I tweeted about Millie and Izzy. The Millie and Izzy show has done absolutely wonderful stuff for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Izquierdo popped up with a goal.
Well happy with them too. Yeah, Izquierdo well, you know.
What can you say? I mean, he's looked good for a number of weeks now, and you've kind of stuck with him over the last couple where he's not looked quite so good. And he's showing up Gross and Murray and all the others in Brighton. I mean,
well, to be fair, I just thought he was a differential, didn't I? When I got him in, I thought, oh, you're a differential. You're a little bit cheaper than the other two. I'll have you for the double.
Absolutely.
You'll be fine. And actually, to pop up with a goal, that's amazing. Right decision with Firmino and Aubameyang. Firmino with a goal, Aubameyang just with an assist. So I did the right thing with keeping Firmino over Aubameyang. Happy with that. Obviously,
even
Kane.
that was a bit. Sorry.
What?
This is how our weekend has gone, right? So you got all this positive, and I'm just like, that's lucky. That's lucky. That's lucky.
How is that lucky?
Even the Firmino is lucky.
How?
That is like the last couple of minutes. Bournemouth can't be arsed anymore, and he's just got through. It's lucky, trust me. He got luck. 2 bonus points because he got that goal.
It's not luck, it's skill. You've got to play to the final whistle. You should know that by now.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Vardy, obviously,
very good.
Is what it is.
Good.
Obviously, my two midfielders with Son and Lingard, they're my two. Now, they were the two that I knew when I got them. When I kept Sonny and when I got Lingard, I knew they were both at risk at rotation. What I hoped is that they would both get 90 minutes and about 30 minutes in the other game. And hopefully that's exactly what's going to happen. They both got Lingard got half the game.
Yeah.
Sonny got about half an hour in this weekend's game. So hopefully
they're both going to get 90 minutes.
They should now both get 90 minutes in their midweek game. So
you think?
I'm hoping as long as Son does something on Tuesday night, then I've done the right thing by keeping him over Sterling.
I think the Lingard thing as well was potentially because I think Jose Mourinho was expecting West Brom to come and play very deep, park the bus, 2 lines of 4. Of course, I guess you'd expect that going away to United.
Yeah.
And he kind of played Mata over Lingard. I guess that's what he was thinking. And Mata's that sort of player that he can pick a lock, can't he? He can play that ball, bit of creativity to just undo that defence that's sitting deep. Whereas Lingard's a bit more kind of dynamic out and out and quite direct.
And I think, for me, whatever was going to happen in the build-up to game week 34, there was no way I was going into this game week without Kane. And the only way I could do that was to downgrade either Son or Sterling. And they had to go to somebody in that 6 bracket. And Lingard was the best option. And actually, I'm looking at him now and I think, like we've just said, he should now get 90 minutes in the middle of the week. So hopefully he will be okay. The only other one that was disappointing out there really was Chilwell. But, can't have everything, can you?
Leicester, there's a few teams that worry me if I have their players from this weekend. Leicester are one of them. Because Leicester feel as if they're on the beach already for me. We're getting to that point of the season where teams are on the beach.
Yeah.
Watford are another one. Sorry, Joe. It feels a bit like Watford already. They're safe, mid-table. I think they're on the beach a little bit. Leicester feel about the same. So we're going to come to teams like that in a bit.
But then you know what? If Chilwell's going to play, get me 2 points. He's going to get 3.
Yeah, I get it.
That's all right.
I get
Take
it.
that.
I get it. So let's go to. We're going to talk about the Spurs game first. So I want to get your view on the Kane performance and what he's got to change, or what Spurs have got to change for the next game. But before we do, one last look at that: 78 points, 4.9k game week rank.
Just look at that bench.
Absolutely
again.
Sensational stuff.
Oh.
That bench is looking very, very good. I'm glad that these live streams and the FPL talk and your involvement with the FPL community is helping you significantly with your game. It's knocked the stuffing out of me. This is my worst year I've ever had. Whereas you, 14k, I think that's got to be your best, isn't it?
That's got to take me to the top of Jeff's League of Vloggers, hasn't it?
Oh, I'll be very interested to hear that, Jeff. So if you're not following Jeff on Twitter already, go and follow Jeff. Jeff, if you put your handle in the live stream, people will follow you. Get all the in-laws, go and follow Jeff, because Jeff is doing or keeping a tally of where all the vloggers are. Now, I'm pretty sure there's about 5 or 6 of them, and I'm pretty much 5th or 6th.
I think there's 10.
10? Well, you've got sort of Nymphria and J&O and Andy and Kurt and
Jeff, pop up in the
John
chat and tell everyone what it's about.
So, yeah, so go and follow Jeff on Twitter. Jeff, if you could post that league and see how we're all doing, because I'm pretty sure you'll be at the top. I'm pretty sure.
I think I'll have won the week anyway.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that week is fantastic. So go on then. So let's have a review. Let's have a review of the Spurs game, because I thought it was very unlike Spurs.
No.
Very unlike Spurs.
No, see, I think it was absolutely typical of Spurs against a big team of late.
Really?
The first half an hour, absolutely shocking.
It's a bit like that in Chelsea game, wasn't it, to be fair? Yeah.
It's almost like we come up against one of the big teams, the likes of City and Chelsea and company and what have you. And it's like it takes us half an hour to get in the game and work out what we're doing and settle. And then once we've settled, we're all right and we played well. The trouble is, you cannot give, last week, Chelsea, give them a 2-goal head start. We've got chance of catching that, and we did, fine.
Yeah. You
can't give City a 2-goal lead
unless you're
in
Man
the
United.
way that we did. But that's different. It's a derby. Anything can happen in a derby.
Yeah.
You just can't give City that kind of freedom, and you can't let them play in the way that they did. And the problem with us is that we play football. Whoever we're playing against, we don't really change our game.
But there was a lethargy in that Spurs performance that we've just not seen for a while. I mean, I thought Lamela was bad. I thought you missed Son's dynamism for
we were
I know
better
you
when Son came on.
And I know you're playing 2 games in 4 days or whatever before a cup semi-final, which is very important. But you definitely missed something with Son. He definitely gives you something. I thought Ali maybe just kind of retreated a little bit into the player we've seen rather than the player we saw last week, because a lot of people getting on Ali from last week. And then Eriksen was he was playing number 10 quite forward to start with against Kane. And then he kind of dropped back a little bit as you kind of reverted to the shape that you're used to once you're a couple of goals down. And when you went a couple of goals down, you went back to your shape that you were used to, and actually we were better.
Yeah.
From an FPL perspective, Kane was, I think he had I saw his numbers of touches in the box. It was definitely single figures.
Yeah,
it was maybe even under 5. So it was a poor performance. It was unlike Spurs, but I think if you've got Spurs assets, you don't panic.
No,
because I think you will react in that second game.
Look, there's a. Forgive me, Brighton fans. I don't mean this disrespectfully, but there's a major difference between playing Manchester City, who were at that stage, if they won the game and Man United lost it, going to be champions, as we know that's now happened, and playing Brighton. Now, Brighton they could cause an upset. They'll probably score goals against us because we do love to concede.
Yeah.
But I think playing against Brighton will suit our way of playing more, because we like to go at people. And
they're not really a bus parking team, Brighton, as we saw at the weekend. I mean, that Palace game, it was just full of goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, if you think Palace can get 3, then potentially Spurs can get a couple.
I think so, and we will play proper football, and we tried to play football in that sort of penultimate 60 minutes or so of that game. Well, penultimate, that's the wrong word. In that last 60 minutes of that game, we played football, and because we were playing football, it was leaving us. Then was giving them plenty of space to also play football at us. Okay. Brighton, I don't expect to do the same thing, so we should see a bit more from the likes of Son and Kane and Eriksen. So one person I'd be a little bit wary of if I had is Ali, because he was really, I don't know what was going on with him. He was massively, every time he got the ball, the pace of the team dropped.
Lethargic,
it was like he stopped and looked around, didn't do anything, and then
but
he's
in that position. Like if you look around all the other top sides, that number 10 position dictates the tempo, and he's got to be in there dictating the tempo, and if his tempo is low, the team's tempo is low.
And I actually thought that the team as a whole looked better when Lucas Moura came on. I thought he was fantastic.
Yes, because he's tricky and he's
out
direct,
there and he's trying different things. Now I actually expect to see him again on Tuesday night, because he will.
I do.
And almost certainly he will play on Saturday, and I think that could work really well for us. I think as a whole, City. I'm not going to sit here and say anything other than City deserved to win that game. They absolutely deserved to win that game. I thought the only thing I would say is it was never a penalty. It was outside the box.
It was. Yeah, absolutely was. So yeah, I think that's the kind of echoes my thoughts on the game. Spurs a bit lethargic, but I'm expecting better. If you've got FPL Spurs assets and you haven't got your free hit for 35, given that you don't have a game in 35, I don't think.
No, we don't.
The cup final, the cup semi. Do you bench them for a week and bring them back for that 36, or
depends how many you got? Got one or two probably, but
keep Kane, I think, and any of the others maybe switch.
Yeah, I mean you've got, because the other thing you've got to consider is that again in 37 we've got another double, and they're not. It's a really nice double.
It's a nice double. Yeah, spot on.
If you've not got a free hit and you've got 1 or 2, I'd probably keep. I don't think that many people have got 3 Spurs players. It might be that you get rid of 1 and then get them back in again for 37, but you're not going to be playing too much of a hokey-cokey, really. Okay.
So Jeff has posted the live streamers points tally so far. I'm beginning to wish he hadn't, because of, I'll tell you in a minute. But bringing up the rear is me on 18.
You're not lost.
I am lost. But look, there's some serious players in here. So I'm 1879 points. Then J&O, then Granville from the Scouts, and then Andy from the Scouts and from Let's Talk FPL. Mark Southerns of FPL, official FPL fame nowadays, and of the Scouts. Then it's yourself on 2009. So you're beating pretty much all of the scouts except John T on 2049. Az is on 2049 too. So that's going to be interesting to see the next scout cast. Those two on exactly the same points. And then Mr. J. Eggersdorf, who is officially the best player in the game.
So they're beating you by 49? By 40?
40 odd points, yeah,
okay.
40 odd points. So Jay's on 2057, and he's pretty good at this, right? Been doing it very well for a number of years. So you are in esteemed company.
Quite nice to be beating some of the scouts, isn't it?
Very, very good. Very, very good. Well, I wouldn't know. But
well, maybe I should.
Maybe
I should have applied for a job with them, like you suggested.
Maybe, yeah, they posted that. Well, you said a bit of diversity with the scouts.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, they've seen one of me trying to shoot a video on my own. Like, did they watch it the other night? Crumbs. Took us forever.
Well, so you guys, thank you for tuning in to the mini videos that we did during the week. So it's
quite why you wanted to watch me, like.
Well,
a nervous wreck.
You might not have seen these, but I posted a couple of outtakes on Twitter, and they were pretty good outtakes. I thought the outtakes were actually better than the video.
It was brilliant.
Quite good fun. It's quite good fun.
I don't like doing it by myself.
So if you guys are tuned into those, thank you for those. There's going to be more of those sort of bite-sized kind of videos coming out. I think we're going to start doing it a bit more next season in a slightly more professional way than what we did. But
what you mean? A bit of practice, I don't know.
Maybe practice and have some thoughts about what we actually want to say. So that's the Spurs game covered. What about, let's go to Liverpool versus Bournemouth then, and the 3-0 there. So single game week players, Liverpool, the front three all scoring. They do have a game in game week 35, so whether you're free hitting or not, I think it's a prudent thing to have Liverpool players in your side. What do we do about this Champions League rotation though? Do you think that's a factor, or do you go with Klopp's words before this game, which were, fourth isn't secure yet. It looks secure, but he's saying it's not secure. So we play our best team until it's secure.
I think you're safe. I'm going to put myself in a difficult situation here, but I think you're safe with Liverpool players until the game week between the two Champions League games,
which is Stoke at home in 36.
Now, Stoke at home, I think, is a risk depending upon.
What a nice fixture, though.
I know, but it depends upon what happens in that first leg of that Champions League. Because if that first leg of the Champions League is a bit more sewn up.
It looked zoned up against City, and he still.
But that's what I mean. But there was rests, wasn't there?
There was some rotation.
So there was
right.
obviously Salah was injured, but Firmino rest. So we could see a bit more resting there. Robertson and Firmino didn't play, did they, in that game?
That's true. Yeah,
so
true.
If we get to a stage where Liverpool come out of that Roma game 3-0 up, then I would expect some rotation for that Stoke game, which will be gutting because that's such a nice fixture.
So I think there's going to be rest and rotation, whatever happens.
Do you? In that one game.
In that one game.
Yeah, I don't think it will be before that game.
Unless we progress against Roma, and then you've got to potentially it's you've got to rest players for the final. Surely, I mean, but that Stoke game, assuming we go into into game week 35, and I've got to check our fixture. I know it's lovely, a nice fixture.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. It's Liverpool. Oh, so West Brom. Okay, so you've got to hope that we could, he's going to play potentially a full strength team there because he said that he's going to do things like that until it's mathematically safe. But then I think you're spot on that game. So then it's the Roma game, then it's the Stoke game, then it's the Roma game. So I think that Stoke game is fraught with rotation. Absolutely fraught with rotation. No, and I think he will rest Salah and a few of the others.
I think so. I haven't looked at when the Champions League final is because we're out. But I don't think it's that close to the end of the season, is it?
I don't know.
It must be because the World Cup comes up, so it's going to be fairly quickly.
I thought I'd put a jinx on it by looking ahead to when the Champions League final is. I don't know. But all I'm thinking about right now is that 36.
No, but what I'm wondering is if after 36, obviously there's 37 and 38 then to come. If 36 is a rest week for Liverpool players, which quite frankly I would be amazed if it isn't, can you really see him ending the season with a non-full strength side?
Well, I don't think so. But actually, another dynamic you've got to think about is that Amwonit and MU Fan TV quite rightly suggesting that he's going to play Salah because of the Golden Boot thing.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? And they've got a World Cup to consider. These players aren't going to just want to be sitting about. They've got World Cup fitness to consider as well.
I think so. I'm not sure how much of a thing this Golden Boot thing is. I mean, they've both.
It's a thing. Look at them.
Listen,
Look at them trolling each other.
Listen, I know it is for Kane, right? But for
no.
Klopp and Salah, they've both come out publicly and said it's more about the team.
Yeah, but you look at the teams trolling of Harry Kane, and you tell me that it's not a thing at Liverpool. It's a thing.
I think it is as well. They will all want him to win it. They will all want him to win it.
They're not going to be out there trolling Harry Kane if they don't want him to win it, are they? They're not that bothered. But they are bothered, so they want him to win it.
Okay, all right. So that game, and again, the Liverpool defence looking far better. Looking far better in defence, Liverpool of late. Van Dijk 6 points. Robertson again getting forward. Unlucky to not get an assist again. So
Alexander-Arnold as well though in that defence.
Oh, what a ball that was by the way for Salah's goal.
Assist,
Trent, he was fantastic, wasn't he?
3 baps, an assist, and a clean sheet.
He was fantastic.
He was
Trent.
the defender to have.
Absolutely fantastic. Actually, for that game against West Brom, I'm kind of tempted to maybe have a little punt because he's going to be a bit of a differential, I think. But then I think people will look at that performance and free hit him in. I just wonder whether Klopp might protect him before that Roma game. I wonder because we've got options over there, haven't we? But nevertheless, a very good performance by the young man. 19.
Do you really think it's like? Is there really options there?
Saying that, yeah, I'm not sure Gomez is fully fit. And that's it. So not sure. Maybe there isn't. Yeah, maybe there isn't. Well, Nathaniel Klein has come back actually.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, there you go. You've got one option.
Nathaniel Klein could play. So that's the Liverpool game. I think if you're on their assets, I think you stick and you just kind of manage the rotation as best you can around the Champions League.
Can we while we're talking about in preparation for next week, I think we should really go to Newcastle next because they have got a game next week. And actually, I think Newcastle of late because they. We're playing Arsenal this week and don't have a second game this week. They've been overlooked a little bit by...
Do you think that was a shock result today, Newcastle-Arsenal?
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting it. Were you?
I wasn't shocked by it. I wasn't shocked. I think Benitez has got them playing really nicely at the minute. They're a really nice little side. Absolutely massive club. But he's got them playing really well. They only needed a couple of wins to make sure that they're safe. And they knew if they beat Arsenal at home, they'll be safe. And they are now. I expect them to go into the bucket of Leicester and Watford now. Investing in their assets is a bit of a challenge now. Because I think
next week, given that...
Who are they playing?
Everton.
At home or
no,
away?
Away.
Everton away when you're on the beach. I'm not...
But
go on then, who are you thinking?
I just think you're talking about when you look at the teams that have got a game next week, the big clubs that have got a team next week that you'd want assets for. Obviously, Liverpool, Arsenal, City.
So
probably about it.
30 seconds on this then. So City, how does the fact they've now won the league? Because no one's expecting them to have won the league, but West Brom get the win, they win the league. How does that change your thinking for City assets now on the free hit in 35?
I don't know yet.
Because if United win that game today, you go all out City.
Yeah.
Because they want to win the league in their own stadium and you'd pile in, right?
Yeah.
They won the league now.
Yeah.
So what does Pep do? Does he go out there and say, right, well, just, he's got nothing left to play for, Pep. So for me, I think he goes and plays a full strength 11 and he says, just go and express yourselves and enjoy it. Enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy being champions and go for it. I think he's going to play all your favourites.
I think, look, sorry City fans to bring this up again, but they've got no Champions League left now. There's nothing left to play for. The league is won. It's almost like they'll get a guard of honour, won't they? Because they're the champions. You'd send out your full strength team the first time, the first game that you've won the league.
And I agree with you. And then so surely, so City are dangerous. City with no pressure, playing freely and
against
enjoying
Swansea.
The game against Swansea at home. I think if you pick the right 3 Man City players for your free hit, you're going to be laughing.
I think so. But so my point with Newcastle was therefore going to be, you're going to put in probably 3 Liverpool, probably 3 City, maybe 2, probably an Arsenal player in there. They're going to be expensive. So you're going to have some cheaper options in there as well. Now Newcastle...
Sorry, back to Newcastle.
Given how they played today, could offer you some cheaper options who are going to play a game, they're going to play... in that option,
I agree with you. They're on form, but I just think that mentally they're going to be over 41 now. Mentally they're over 40 points. But
and do you trust now then?
So who are you thinking it? Because I thought Shelby played very, very well today, but I don't see him as a great FPL option. I think the FPL options from a Newcastle perspective, if you want Lascelles at the back, fair enough. He's got a bit of goal threat about him, as we've seen this year. Yeah. Up front, Perez actually.
Perez again assisting a goal today. Richie up with a goal today.
Richie looked pretty good, and he's on some set pieces, I think. But Perez could could be an outside little bet.
Just think that there are some options there if you're looking for a cheaper player.
Yeah. Well, I think I read or I maybe heard somewhere that Benitez sat down with Perez a few weeks back and gave him a bit of a one-to-one. And Benitez is pretty good at that normally, the man management thing. And he gave him a bit of a one-to-one and said, you need to just chill out on the pitch and calm down and play your game.
Okay.
And he showed a bit of faith in him. And since then, he's on a bit of a streak.
I just think I watched Newcastle today and I was genuinely surprised by how well Newcastle played and how confident they appeared. I mean, obviously, you got way up with this that Arsenal have just been to Russia, so they've got that as an element. And I didn't think Arsenal looked very good today, but I just think that Newcastle could offer some good options for the free hit next week.
So very quickly answer this for me. So Shashank, thanks for joining, Shashank. Really, really nice question. Good point here. So he says the bench needs to be strong for free hit in 35. I agree with that now. I think if I go back a couple of weeks ago, I'd have gone, right, my free hit in 35, I'm getting the best 11 I can get out, and then my subs are my subs. I can get, an absolutely awesome 11. Now that we've got City potentially, hung over after their party, who plays, who doesn't, Liverpool rotating around the Champions League, Arsenal rotating around Europa and not really asked, Newcastle potentially on the beach.
Yeah, because the teams that actually you would...
How do you... I think he's right. I think Shashank's spot on. I think you actually do now need a decent bench for 35 when you're free, if you're free hitting.
I think, there's two ways of looking at it, isn't there? Because actually there's a hell of a lot still to play for at the bottom of the league. So if you take the teams that have got a game next week that are near the bottom or at risk still of relegation, now they might not necessarily be the best players you're ever going to pick, but as bench cover in a free hit week, they could offer you something, because they're going to have to play their full strength side. They're going to have to do well, aren't they? Because they need the points to stay up.
Yeah.
Well,
I tweeted earlier about what your free hit team might look like for next week. One of the key games, I think, is Palace versus Watford.
Yeah.
Absolutely key game in who you pick there. Joe, bless him, is on saying, you need to triple up on Palace against his lot.
Yeah, but Palace can't defend at the moment, so there's no reason not to pick a Watford forward option.
Well, I wouldn't say... Well, Watford are on the beach and they don't look great. They're not exactly free scoring. Certainly not away from home. Are they away? Is it at Palace?
No, they're at home.
It's at Watford, okay.
And Joe's got less to travel this week at least.
So it is a shorter journey, absolutely right. However, that game for me, that Palace and Watford game, I think loading on Palace, sorry Joe, doesn't look like too bad an option. I mean, Palace are in nice form right now. Zaha coming back, as we've said many times,
talked about it a lot.
Makes a big difference. Miljovic, 10-9 in the last 4. We're all talking about City, Liverpool, and therefore your midfield looking very blue and red. Should it be looking blue and red from a Palace perspective? Yeah. Miljovic and Zaha on a double up? What do you think about that?
Why not? I will, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I like the sound of that. I really do. I
think Zaha will be on my team sheet for next week.
Yeah, I think Zaha is looking very, very good.
The other one that I would like for next week, because I don't really think that Arsenal are... I know they're at home for that free hit game, but I really fancy an Arnautovic against them.
So is it Arsenal, West Ham at Arsenal?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a different proposition at home, aren't they? I was reading some stats earlier about them, but their away form. It's woeful, and one of you guys is saying that. Notorious Nerd is saying the worst away team. You're spot on with that. They're bad, but at home it's different.
Yeah, but Arsenal will have they've got the Europa League to contend with. They're not going to get in the top 4, so where are their priorities going to be? And Arnautovic, we all know what Arnautovic is like. If he turns up and plays a game, then... Yeah, I'll probably be having him in my free hit team as well. And
where are West Ham in the league? Are West Ham scrapping around for points, or I need to have a look at this?
I don't think they're near the bottom, are they? I imagine them to be sort of mid-table, aren't they?
Should really know the answer to that. 15th, so yeah, they are in it. They are in it.
Well, there you go then.
Despite the fact that if you look at the bottom 3, it's looking a done deal, isn't it? I mean, 5 points now between Southampton and Swansea. It's looking tough for those 3 that are down there. So West Ham don't look like they're in too bad a position. But even a win for Southampton or Stoke and then start to look over their shoulders. So they need some points there to kind of pull themselves up and out trouble potentially for good. So yeah, West Ham away at Arsenal. I don't see it myself. If anything, I'll be looking at some Arsenal attackers. I'll be looking at Aubameyang and a few others potentially, because Aubameyang and Lacazette look quite good actually today against Newcastle. Certainly the
good thing about Aubameyang is that Aubameyang's not a rotation risk for Europe.
Yeah, and as JC is, so JC quite rightly saying no space for a mid. Sorry, Arnie. So yeah, we're all talking about, you need Sterling, you need Salah, you need Mane potentially, you need Zaha, you need Milikovic. Where does Arnie fit in all of that?
Well, that's what you have to kind of weigh up, isn't it? Is that and that's where I think, who was it that mentioned the bench being important? I think that's where it is important, because it only takes for Pep to have I think this one's having a bit as a rest for this game. Or
if you got Arnie in now, you wouldn't bench him, would you? Surely.
Well, I shouldn't have thought so, but you never know.
Surely. So a word on that Palace and Brighton game before we move away from Crystal Palace. Then it was an incredible first half in particular. Absolutely incredible
just
first half.
Back to them, didn't they? When we listened to the radio.
It was just goal after goal after goal. So yeah, Palace in nice form. I mean, Milikovic is an absolute beast. I think 2 assists. Was it 2 assists or maybe one?
2 assists. 2 bonus points, 2 assists.
And let's just have a look at the stats behind that game. So Zaha obviously with the 2 goals. So why would you not think about getting him in your free hit? I think you absolutely would. So he and Milikovic, the stars of the show. Tompkins at the back. So yes, I thought he did. Tompkins got the goal.
On the back.
And a bonus point. So is Tompkins an option very, very quickly? I don't know, maybe. Potentially. And then from a Brighton perspective, it's your favourites, Izquierdo and Murray, despite not getting much from an FPL perspective. Oh no, Dunk did get an assist. Sorry, I was about to give Dunk a bit of a disservice there, but Dunk got the assist, I think, for which goal? Don't know. But either way,
where I've written it down, I think it's just Murray goal.
For the Murray goal, okay, let's go with that. So Brighton assets going into next week. Let's see.
No, they don't have a
game. Would you stick on them given that their end of the season run in is really, really tough?
What if you're not free hitting?
Well, whether you are or not. I mean, if you free hit for 35 and then your Brighton assets that you've got. So Izquierdo, you've got him back for 36 after your free hit.
Yeah.
Burnley away, followed by. Let's see, it's very, very difficult. Remember, United, and then.
But then they've got a double, Man U and City. Why
and
not?
Then Liverpool. Is it two Manchester sides
in their double?
Goodness me. So you're looking to move Izquierdo on, or what are you thinking about your Brighton players?
Yeah, probably.
Reluctantly.
I've only got Izquierdo. I quite like having Izquierdo. He's a bit of a differential, and I quite like having Izzy and Millie. They're quite quite fun. No, I'll probably be moving him on, but it depends where your priorities are, don't you? Doesn't it? Going into 36, free hit next week, have one transfer going for 36. Then I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see where we are.
All right. What else should we talk about? I mean, I don't know if there's too much to talk about in Burnley-Leicester, other than Burnley pushing for that Europa League spot. Another very, very good result. Leicester look to be on the beach. Vardy is ticking the points over, which annoys me because they're really not playing well and he does seem to be getting a goal. I'm a very worried Mahrez owner. He's a lot of money on my side right now and I'm going to be free hitting in 35, so it doesn't matter whether I have him or not. I mean, I don't think they played, do they? So he's not going to be there. You're going to come back in 36.
But then they have got a double in 37.
Yeah, I know that, but he looks, so have a lot of teams, and he looks terribly out of form.
Well, I would agree.
Right now. Terribly out of form.
So, hate to say it, but I did tell you so.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that. We've gone 51 episodes without you saying "told you so," and now you've done it. I can't believe it.
Well, Mahrez, you deserve everything you get. You know what the man is like.
I do.
You deserve everything you get. You should have got Vardy.
But even in that game, I was watching the highlights. I'm thinking Goodmanson looks good again. Come back from his injury, straight in there in the points with the assist.
Yeah.
Is Mahrez out to Goodmanson even a terrible shout? I don't think it is. And actually, Dave Smith on the live chat, thanks for joining, Dave. He's saying Mahrez, see you later. Sterling in. Mahrez to Sterling now when it's saying.
Yeah, because Sterling has got a double game in 37.
He has, and Vinyl Richie looks like he's doing the same. Actually, it's Joe that's saying that. Mahrez out for Sterling. For me, yeah, absolutely. Sean Tan, I hate Mahrez. I think it's unanimous. I think it's unanimous on the live chat that Mahrez is not in people's good books.
I mean, there's a lot of decent teams with doubles and decent doubles in 37. You've got to look at Spurs' 2 fixtures in 37. They're nice. You could have Spurs midfielder for the same price as Mahrez.
Yeah. Okay. A quick word on Everton. So another team that is in and out of form and looking decidedly average. However, do have a fixture in 35. So if you're going to think about who you're bringing in on your free hit, or even if you're not, do you bring in an Everton player at home to Newcastle? I don't think there's any players there that I'm thinking I must have.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it, with Everton? So you look at them and actually, if you list the teams, Everton they're a big club with a game in 35, so that should make them an interesting proposition, and it should be that I'm looking at that Everton team and thinking, right, which one of you am I going to have?
It's saying, by the way, you could skip Everton.
Yeah, I think Hamlet's right, because actually you look at them and it's like, who do you have? None of them are doing anything.
From the other side of the coin, though, Jordan Ayew, who is a player that you've championed before on these vlogs, because you had him and he's been very, very good, has got a game next week. I think it's the City game, isn't it?
It is City,
he's got to go to the Etihad. So who knows what sort of City we're going to get? I mean, I think we're, as I said before, I think we're going to get a free-flowing, very expressive, lots of goals kind of Man City team. However, we might not. We might get a hungover B team. In which case,
not in that first game.
Does Jordan Ayew become an option? Potentially, especially if you've not got the free hit. Could he be one you bring in? Obviously not. No. You're not liking that. You're not liking that. Okay.
Look, if Swansea had anybody else, I'd probably say yes, worth a punt. But City, I can't believe that the very first game after they've won the league, that they're going to put out some random bunch of players. I just can't believe that's going to happen, and I can't believe Swansea are going to get anything out of that game.
By the way, in the live chat, Dave Smith gets the award for the most used pun this year.
Yes, he said.
He said, "Ayew crazy, Lee."
Yeah, he is.
If
crazy.
I had a pound for every time I heard that, Dave, goodness me,
he's crazy.
You got to up your game, mate. You've got to be a better.
He got Mahrez over Vardy. He's crazy.
Right, what else to talk about? We're coming up to more or less time. That's gone very, very quickly this evening. Anything else you want to talk about on those games before we talk?
We actually haven't talked about. Have we talked about Chelsea?
Well, sort of briefly about sort of Hazard, didn't we? And a little bit about Alonso and Willian. Giroud an option going forward? Because again, no game in 35. So,
but is Giroud? He's like having Jesus or Aguero when they're both fit.
Jesus or Aguero?
Yeah, like...
because he could play...
Because he's going to play.
I guess so. Look, I think the thing to say from that game is that for 65 minutes, Chelsea were bad. Really bad. I mean, don't take it away from the Saints. They were very, very good. But when they got that first goal, Chelsea, to be fair to them, they smelt blood, and Saints, looked shaky. They could see that a win that they had in the bag that they desperately needed was, they were about to let go and clinging on to that. So Chelsea smelt blood and they went for it. So fair play to Chelsea. But let's not forget, for an hour, they were pretty
So what
bad.
Are you saying? You think he's going to play Giroud over Morata in the next game?
Well, all I'm saying is that Morata has done absolutely nothing to warrant inclusion in that Chelsea side recently. Do you? I mean, look at him. He looks knackered, doesn't he? You go back to what we said at the beginning of the season, which was Morata comes in for £70 million. He's a big name. He's come from Real Madrid. When he was at Real Madrid, he sat a lot on the bench. And he came on as a sub. He's that sort of impact player. He plays 20-30 minutes a week because he couldn't get in the side. Now he's at Chelsea. He's the main man. He's expected to start and score goals for 90 minutes. He looks knackered. For me, he looks knackered. And I think that's one of the reasons he bought Giroud in January, was because he needs that sort of player to come in. He needed to manage the minutes between Giroud and Morata. If he's going to pick on form, he's got to pick Giroud, I think. Hazard looked much better when Giroud come on.
Potentially, you're right. I just think that Chelsea, for me, there's too much of a rotation risk there. There's a lot of really good forward options. I'm looking at that thinking, realistically, I'm going to keep Kane and Vardy now till the end of the season, particularly with the two doubles in 37. The only one that would be up for discussion, I suppose, would be Firmino's spot, and that really depends what happens with you moving forward in the Champions League.
Yeah, I don't think with those three you'd be looking to move any of those on for Giroud. One thing I will say is that Vinyl Richie, who is, as we know, a Chelsea fan, so we've got to listen to this. He's saying Giroud turned the game around with his fighting spirit. He lifted the entire team. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Morata is not that sort of player.
No.
He's not a cheerleader. He's not a leader. Whereas Giroud at least comes on, he gives you a bit, doesn't he? He gives you a bit, in my opinion. So I think it was I'm not going to say it was a shrewd signing in January, but it was one they needed to make, I think. You could see that he was burning Morata out. So I kind of like him. I kind of like Giroud.
Just a little bit of credit for before we move on and finish. We just haven't mentioned Jay Rodriguez again with another goal. Good for him coming back.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. We talked all about United in that game, but Jay Rod, absolutely.
West Brom really, apart from talking about Foster, but I think we should mention Jay Rod to come back. Shows a lot of fighting spirit.
Nothing
from
for
him.
Rondon this week. Looked good though, didn't he?
No,
To be fair?
but Neon got booked, so that takes some points away from him.
And actually, he was quite lucky to stay on. There was a bit of a horror challenge on, I think, Martial down that wing. Yeah. So I was giving the Who Got the Assist boys a bit of banter on Twitter about that, because they were saying that Neon got, I think, 5 points this week, whereas Rondon got obviously 2. But I was saying he's lucky to stay on, Neon. Very lucky to stay on the pitch.
They've been giving you a lot of banter this weekend, haven't
they? They have, yes. But Nick needs. I'm trying to chill Nick out whenever I can, because he's due a baby, isn't he? His missus is due a baby any minute now, so I'm not going to launch into some sort of ridiculous banter thing with him. I'll let him get on with it. Tom, on the other hand.
Oh, he's fair game, is he?
He's fair game. He's absolutely fair game.
Right, so 5 games to go in this game week then. West Ham and Stoke Monday night, Brighton and Spurs Tuesday night, Bournemouth and United Wednesday night, Burnley and Chelsea Thursday, and Leicester and Southampton on Thursday. How many players you got left?
Do you know what? I don't know. Let me have a look. Where's my points? Points. Let's see. So quite a few. So obviously the 3 Man United players that I bought in for, the cost of about 40 points. Mahrez, Eriksson, Loughton, Wilson. How is he still in my team? What a disastrous signing he's been. I've just never been able to get rid of him. He's just like a stain on my team. Terrible. And then my bench players are all single game weekers, except for McCarthy, which I'm not expecting much from.
So you've got 8. 8 to go?
So 8 to go, yeah, 8 to go. And how about you?
9.
9? Who have you got then?
9 to go again. Chilwell, Alonso, De Gea, Son, Lingard, Izquierdo, Vardy, Kane.
Izquierdo's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. You've got loads,
Long.
And Long. Goodness me, you're gonna be fine, I think. You're going to be fine. I can't wait to see this game week.
Well, yeah,
at the end of the game week.
That or these other games will all just fall apart.
Not at all. No, not at all. I think you're flying, and I think you're looking like, if you can finish in the top 10k, I will be very, very impressed.
Well, I'm not there yet, am I? What did we say? 14k.
14k, which is very, very good. So before we wrap it up,
have a look at the league, shall we? Before we wrap it up.
Good idea.
And the polls, leagues and polls.
Leagues and polls. You're right. I was just about to finish up, but you're right. So we need to get the live stream regulars. I don't think we should look at Jamal's score this week. I don't think he's had a great week, Mr. Rice. I think he's Kane captain again. So, anything can happen. We're still, mid-game week, so anything can happen. And he's obviously still got Arnautovic to play, which is a nice pick. I like that.
Yeah.
But 26 is a bit of a struggle so far. No chips played, interestingly, down to 33 overall, which, of course, is still very, very good.
But it's going to be a struggle without a chip in this week, because so many of us are playing either the bench boost or the triple captain, so... It is what it is.
Some good points though for Marcin in second place, 54 points, looking very, very good. Who's his big players there? So Long, and a bench boost with his 3 Liverpool players. I think he done that just for a laugh, didn't he? Robertson, Firmino, Salah, all on the bench. Great bench boost. Mike on 44 so far this game week, I think, because I think the points will have updated. Maybe not the league positions yet. 44. So Mike looking not too bad. Fantasian PL, Mr. Ian Wilson, 57, very, very good. Mark Nunes, 61. Some pretty good scores though, guys. El Stato, Chris Payne, 61. There you are on 78. 78.
Yeah, league positions aren't up to date, because I was 10th last night, and I think I'll be 9th now. Okay,
very good, very good. Let's see, have a look a bit further down. Some 55 down here for Michael Namba, very, very good. So some pretty good scores, But as we said right at the beginning, plenty of football.
So much to play.
Plenty of football still to go. It's still all to play for.
It's massive.
Who's to say Lukaku doesn't get a hat trick?
This is like the best. It's the
Who's
best.
To say?
Honestly, these next couple of weeks of football are just brilliant. Like
it's great.
This week,
it's great.
Pretty much every night. Just get Friday night off. And then we're back in it again Saturday, obviously.
Saturday, Sunday, and then I don't know if there's a game Monday, but then it's like Champions League again. It's the Roma game, isn't it?
Midweek.
So for us Liverpool fans, that's a hell of a week.
Yeah.
Then it's cup final time, or is it cup final at the weekend?
What are we talking about?
Weekend before. This time next week, it's the cup final. Cup semi-final. Sorry, semi-final. Because you're going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, next Saturday I'm going. Yeah.
And then it's the Champions League that week, and then it's relentless. I love it. None of this international break nonsense.
No.
None of that. I mean, I'm looking forward to the World Cup as much as anyone.
Well,
nearly got all my stickers now, by the way.
If we're not all at war.
If we're not, let's not get political in FPL family. Let's not go there. We've got people tuning in from all over the world. Let's not get political.
Well, no, I'm not going to get political. I'm just saying.
So let's talk about when the next stream is. So Super Tiger saying, when is the next stream?
Oh,
we could do one every day, couldn't we? At this rate, it's absolutely.
So the issue, we were actually away at the end of this week, taking the kids away for a couple of days.
Thursday, Friday, we're on holiday, aren't we?
So it means we'd have to go Wednesday, but you're always out on a Wednesday.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, but we could
So
maybe squeeze something in.
It would have to be a late one, late Wednesday.
Late-ish Wednesday, yeah, which may clash with some of the other guys, unfortunately.
It would have to be like 9 o'clock by the time you get in.
Or else we do a couple of little videos and some more outtakes.
You can decide what you want.
All right, guys, we'll look out for us.
No, we haven't done the poll.
Oh, man, you're absolutely right. I always forget, as I said right at the beginning, slick. Okay, so I don't know how to do it on here, so I'm going to do it on my phone.
You haven't even voted, I bet, in the poll. You better vote.
I haven't even voted. I'll have a look on here.
Lee and his polls.
I do know how to do it on here, but it just screws up the OBS and the screen looks weird. So for those of you that haven't done it, you've got 10 seconds now to click the I in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I want to see how many game week points you've got so far.
You've changed it because you voted instead of me now. It moved my vote.
And I think we are seeing pretty much a bell curve, which is what I expected. So a couple of you on 0 to 29. So it's a tough game week. It has been a tough double game week. Plenty of football still to go. 15% on 30 to 39. 45% of you are on 40 to 49 points. 30% are on 50 to 59. And then only 7% on 60 plus. I dare say, if there was another option for 70 plus, you'd probably be in a league of your own there, darling. A league of your own. That is absolutely sensational.
I think that might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
No, honestly, it's a very, very good game. Very impressed. So, yeah, as expected, most people in that sort of 40 to 49 bracket, but plenty of football.
So much to go. Honestly, this game week, it's almost like having a whole new game week, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Come tomorrow evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Ivana Ritchie saying holiday again. Yeah,
it's just a little 2 days
day,
away with the kids.
This is not Dubai again, is it, for a couple of weeks?
No, we're staying in the UK this time, but we're going to have a heat wave while we're there.
It's supposed to be good in the UK, isn't it? Thursday, Friday, 27 degrees.
Yeah, amazing.
I have to take my shorts. That's sensational.
Yeah, no, it's just a couple of days away with the kids. School placements in that this week, so get away from it all.
Oh yeah, goodness me, yeah, that's. Tell you what, that is stressful, isn't it? We find out where our little boy goes to junior school tomorrow, and that is stressful, guys. Honestly, in the UK, the way they do it. It's basically, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's boring on an FPL stream. But the way they do it is they basically do it in a catchment zone. So depending on how close or not you live to the school, you either get in or not. And the catchment area changes depending on intakes. Oh, it's so stressful, guys.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to keep me company on Instagram tomorrow and take my mind off this until my email arrives tomorrow afternoon, I'd be grateful.
Absolutely the place to be. Absolutely the place to be. As you guys can see on the left-hand side, at FPLFamily on Twitter. If you're not following us already, definitely do that, because not only is there amazing FPL insight, but there's also heads up as to when our next live streams are going to be. So at the minute, we think it's going to be Wednesday night, could be a late one Wednesday. But what we will do is we'll let you know, obviously, on FPLFamily on Twitter and on Instagram as to when that's going to be.
Trouble is that the game week still won't have finished if we go live on Wednesday.
That's true. So
it's really tough.
Because there's a game Thursday, right? Chelsea Burnley.
Two games.
Me, so we're still going to be mid-game week.
Yeah, Burnley and Chelsea and Leicester and Southampton on Thursday. So it's real tough.
Blimey. So maybe Thursday. No, we can't do Thursday night. We're away. This is difficult, isn't it?
And I don't know what we're going to do.
We'll
have to work it out. We'll talk about it and we'll come back to you.
I'm sure we will squeeze something in somewhere.
Be
a live stream or a mini video. We'll do something. As ever, thank you very much for joining us, guys. Hope you've enjoyed Double Game Week 34 so far. I think I have. I know you have. I think I have. It's been good so far.
I don't know. I found today quite stressful, to be honest. I'm glad today's over.
Yeah, there was quite a big sofa for me to hide behind yesterday with Kane, and I think your sofa was even bigger, not only Lukaku today in the United game.
No.
But we ought to finish on saying thank you for joining. Hit that like button if you like the video. Thank you for doing that if you've done already. Hit the sub button. I know a lot of you guys will have already subbed, but we are closing in on 1k subs. We are 940ish, I think.
It's 944 last time I checked. It would be amazing if we could get to 1,000 by
it would be ace, wouldn't
it?
It'd be ace to get to 1k subs before the end of the season. So we've got 5 or 6 more weeks. Can we get to 1k subs? We'd love you guys to help us to do that. So hit that sub button, hit the like button. If you're a Man City fan, congratulations. Hope you're having a beer or a glass of champagne this evening, because you thoroughly deserve it. Fantastic champions. Good luck for the rest of Double Game Week 34, and we will see you at some stage in some format next week.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Good night.